This time on Woody's Garage. Are you finally going to get that running?
Well, today's the day we're going to try it. I got a little charge in the battery. I think the terminals are connected. It seems like the right-hand carb isn't accepting gas into the bowl. I gave it a couple of wraps. I don't know. I put a little gas down the spark plug holes just to see if it'll kick. And I guess we're going to find out. Oh. Yeah, baby. Okay. It makes me smile right there. I gotta see what's going on with that other carb. Taking gas now, but it's also leaking it. Gas. Beautiful. No knocks, no nothing. Oh, a lot of buttoning up to do to get this thing rideable. But I am happy. I was so nervous this morning. Yahoo! Well, by touching the cylinders and the pipes, it seems like both cylinders were firing just fine because they were equal warmth. Got to figure out this wiring business. The gas tank's going to be something. I know the petcock screwed up, but I saw that I had another one in my parts, and I have some petcock kits too. But it's in a weird place. It like rubs right up against the carburetors, and it's, I don't know, it's like a bad design or something. But we'll have to overcome that. And some air filters. I think I have some old pods, but the rubber might be totally gone on them. And those other air filters, I don't know. The stock ones are pretty beat, and I'm not even sure they're for this model. But I'll tell you, I am so happy. I was so fearing that I did all this work for an engine that was shit. Although we haven't gone through all the gears yet. But the right carburetor is leaking, so we're going to have to pull that off again, I think. But overall, thumbs up. Just ran it again, started right up. I think I got that carb to stop leaking. But Starting to think, like, what can I do so that I can take this for a spin around the yard or around the block. And the battery is one thing. Right now, we don't even need this solenoid anymore. But I want to leave it in the mix just because things are working. But this is a really short lead here. But it's kind of like arcing out on the battery frame there. So we'll fix that up. Then I was thinking for the wires for the stator, one of those two wires has to split at this junction box here and turn into two wires, basically being the same wire. So if I take my voltmeter and find continuity on them, then I think I'll have some problem solved there. I'm going to take another look at the schematic. But I'll tell you, I'm psyched now to ride this thing. Whoopee. Alright, I'm looking at these wires, the four that come out of the stator. And you can see this is the green and red. Got continuity there, as expected. Then these three, I was trying to see, like, definitely a couple split here because there's only two wires coming out of there. So they should be the same source, right? So you'd have continuity. Yes. Unfortunately, yes. All three seem to be the same. How about these guys, just for the heck of it? Hopefully I'm in frame here. I think I am. Okay, it's going to take more schematic. Another thing I'm thinking about is I have to deal with the stator, with the solenoid, which is no longer needed because we don't have an electric start. But like I said, look at all the wires coming off of that. But I think I might leave it. This was the other side that went to the starter motor, but this is where all the positives connect. And it's kind of convenient. It's just that this terminal is a piece of junk. I might see what else I got and make up a better lead to go to the positive. Also, I got to make something a little better because I think this battery is actually supposed to be flipped. You know, it's probably the wrong battery for the bike, but it works for now. So we'll get those figured out. In the basement, looking at the old engine, and you can see that's the neutral switch stuff right there. There's the green and red wire coming out of here, and it goes into this. And it kind of looks like if you took this whole thing out with this screw, it kind of has a little bit more of a place for the wires to go. And then it exits up here with that grommet, which I think I do have. So, and I know that the neutral switch worked before because it came up on the speedometer. So this will be good. We can pull this out of here. I also found that I bought, hang on, I had bought a solenoid because if I remember right, when I was first trying to start this thing, the solenoid was smoking, which it didn't seem to happen this time around. maybe it had more voltage going through it or something, but it's got some good wires on it, so I think I can use the wires off this to hitch up the battery. So that's good. Got to locate a good color-coded schematic, which I'm sure exists online or something. My printer's on the blink right now, so it'd be handy to have one in your hand when you're out there. But enough yap, I'm going to get back to looking around for stuff. It's time to look at the petcock. I'm sure I worked on this before, but right now we're upside down. This gas tank's upside down. But it's kind of hard to get it aligned like this and tight to the tank, unless I'm doing something totally wrong. I mean, I just walked up to it and turned it like this. How'd it come? They do make I know, a reproduction of this for pretty cheap, but I think I have another one in the stash and some parts to rebuild it too. So I think we're just going to take this apart and take a look at it and see what it looks like. Pull the gas hoses out. These aren't really supposed to come out of the bottom, but they did. They press right back in though. Not a big deal there. Let's take the 10mm and look at what's in the bowl down there. And we got my good friend Marvel Mystery Oil in there, keeping everything nice and lubed up. And kind of gunky. But we'll clean right up. Okay, now we'll take this off, the selector. There's kind of a spring underneath here, or like a wave washer underneath here, which keeps the tension on this part. I'll show you when I take it apart. Screws out, don't lose those. This thing comes off like this. You can kind of see that wave washer right there. And this goes over it like this and holds tight against the body here. Then we got this guy in here, and that looks fairly new, so I'm going to blow everything out with air and put it back together. This nut has reverse threads. I'm wondering if maybe I put it on upside down or something. So I guess as you tighten one way, you'd be tightening the other with reverse threads. Don't know why it's kind of like this. You know, why it has that beveled edge, or whatever you'd call it, notched down. Must be a reason. And then this side's kind of smoothed off so that it doesn't make full contact against the tank, I would think. Looks like regular threads going that way. And then it's got a rubber washer, like midway. And like my experience, I think last time was kind of like no matter which way I moved, it was kind of slopping gas out of it. So I got to kind of look into, I think this part is the culprit here. So we'll look into how that's really supposed to work. The only part that's really beat is kind of the bowl, which is kind of crusty inside. I could hit it with, let it soak in some carb cleaner and then try to get something in there. I think I'll do that, but I think I might have some other parts too, so I'm going to dig around. Well, by the looks of it, this was the old stuff that I took out to replace with that newer stuff, so I guess everything I put in here was kind of new. Once again, the question is that nut, which way it goes. Now, I also had another petcock. Don't know where I got that from. Same style and everything. This one has the recessed part sticking up, and I think I had it sticking down. So I don't know if there's a difference. Maybe not, but it sure leaks. Then when you bang it like into the carburetors, because you'll see when I mount it, it's so close. Like things get nudged. It's not very optimal. So I unwrapped some more tape, hoping I'd get to some cleaner looking wires, and no, I have not. I got out the soapy water again, and I hit these leads. Held them in the sun, and I'm telling you, this one's got to be the yellow. This one's got to be white. There's no color in it at all. It's kind of grayish, but so green, white, and that one definitely has a pink hue to it. So we got pink to pink. We got white to white with yellow stripe. We'll confirm that a yellow, yeah, I can see yellow over here. It goes straight to the rectifier, which is right there. So yellow, and this one's going to be yellow. So everything's got a connection now, except for this guy. So I cut this back and shielded it off. Now what I want to do is tin the wires. Let's take the soldering iron to this, put a little coating of solder over it on both that and the connector I'm going to use. And then there, it's easier to solder them together. They don't really need solder, but in this case I kind of want to use it. Got that soldered. Looks a little bit cold, but I want to crimp it right now with the crimpers, and then we'll hit it with the heat again. Yeah, it looks better. This goes into this. Come on, baby. One-handed. That's still hot. Okay, hang on. Okay, now I want to make something non-conductor, some piece of round material. I can put in between the four of these and then just tape them up so that they're solid, at least temporarily. Got this piece of foam rubber. Just gonna put one on every side like that. Tape them down just to hold them together. Whoa, it's like it's from the factory. I'm gonna cut off this old stuff here, and of course I'm guessing that I got this right, but I might not, but it's pretty easy to pull apart if I don't. We'll put on the new electrical tape. Now it's hard to find good electrical tape these days. It just, you put it on and it just looks like this half an hour later. But hopefully this stuff, I don't know where I got it. It looks good though. Oh, UL tested. Yeah, they'll do anything for $1. And I was wrong about that being 2 leads. There's actually 3. It's really hard to see, but they are 3 different wires coming out of the stator. Okay, next is take the old neutral switch out of the other engine, I guess, and see if we can hitch that up. A step forward. I finally got this carb to stop leaking. Just with all these parts. Just started it up again, and it sounded good. One thing I want to do is I want to get a basic idle out of the thing. And this is your idle adjustment here. What it does, and I think I've explained this before, is it moves the slider. Oh, let me open the choke. You want to set it for an initial setting. So that it just starts to move it. See it go up. Okay, we definitely don't want it that high. I'm having a hard time seeing it. Okay, that's up a little ways. It's so that like next time I start it up, I'm gonna have to keep my hand on the throttle. I'll do the same to the other side. Points cover on. Tack cable installed. This tack is a little messed up. I do have I have a whole set of gauges, but not sure if I'm going to replace the whole things or not because of the mileage. So I want to try to get the rear brake light sensor going. That's this guy right here. It's hitched up down here to the brake pedal. I just undid the spring. And when you push on the brake pedal, the spring pulls down this guy, which seems to be frozen, and connects a switch. And I have fixed these before in the past, so let's see if I can get it out of here. We'll take a look. Yeah, that plunger just doesn't want to move yet. Okay, gas tank, petcock, cleaned. What we did with this is we didn't thread to either one. We just stuck them together and turned so that they'd be even. This is nice and tight. We got these out of the old fuel line. We tapped them in the best we could. And I think we're ready to mount. I mean, if this doesn't work, I don't know what will. This line here is to bridge it from one side to the other so the gas doesn't get stuck on one side of the tank, because it doesn't have any low parts. It's just like 1/2 and 1/2. And these are sometimes a pain in the butt to put on, and sometimes they leak. And if I had the right hose, I think I'd swap this out. So I just hit the inside of the tank. A little bit of oil to keep it from rusting, at least for a while. But I noticed how crude, like, their shrinking methods were for the gas tank. There's one other thing I wanted to do too before I put it on, but I might put it on and do it afterwards. I've always wanted to get this dent out of here. The hoses are on. This is how they route. Kind of bizarre, but it seems to be the right way. Put a little bit of gas in here. Is it going through the petcock? I don't know. Let's put it on reserve. The bike kind of up straight. Don't see it leaking anywhere yet. It's like a lot of steps to get this thing going, but I swear I'm going for a ride. I'm gonna throw my other plate on it as soon as I figure out that the neutral switch thing, I might even forego it for now, because it's one of the screws on the other engine is the head's totally stripped out. It would take a drill to get it out, as far as I know. I mean, I'd like to keep the screw and everything so I know what it is, but and this thing's not right yet either. I think this switch is shot. Okay, we're down to putting on this clutch side. This was on the last engine. It's just dangling here. I figured I'd just put it on the new one. And I looked them over, and there didn't seem to be any difference. But behold, there is a difference. Could you see? Well, the difference is the lower, on this one, the lower right mounting hole is a lot closer than on that one. So we're going to swap over to this. I'm going to loosen up the cables, and it's not too hard. There is this ball bearing job in here. And I remember long ago fighting with it And I know everything is not clean right now. I think that's the way it's supposed to point. Don't know, maybe it doesn't even matter. But right now I just want to see if I get it on and can get a clutch working. First fitting, I guess. Well, I don't have the screws for the top one and the bottom one. They're pretty long. Thought I had those, but I don't. But this is the one that will go on, I guess. So I'm going to clean up for the day, I think.